Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Unity. I'm your host, Maximilian Moreau, and with me is, there we go. So pre-programmed, I even said it. Not with me is my co-host, Philip Wilson. He's in California, hopefully enjoying the sun, or whatever they have down there right now, or at least just not as cold here, hopefully. Because it's cold here. Wow, there's already comments going on here. Hopefully I'll keep up with the comments. Again, I'm doing this manually here, and the last time I had to be saved by Phil, and he's not going to be able to come here to save me this time. So apologies in advance if I get behind on the comments. So today we're going to be doing some more 2D stuff, and I need to actually switch this over to main screen. So what we had last time in our little 2D, not really a game yet, but it's just like a little test situation here, is we have our animation system. We can move around, we can jump, we can push blocks. This is actually from the first episode. And additionally, we fixed some collision issues, so now when you get on the edge of the box, you fall properly, and it does a falling animation. Oh, I managed to get it stuck. Oh, one like little tiny amount. So there's still bugs. There's always bugs though. But yeah, so he has a little falling animation that happens if you fall off of something versus jumping off of it, and if you jump and fall for long enough, whoops, that's not a good example. He ends up going into the falling as well. So like even if you do the little jump, woo, and then, oh no, yeah. And we have the little picture-in-picture. All this is driven by this animation state machine thing here. All this was set up on the previous two episodes. And it's been fun. I actually have been super excited about the state machine stuff. I think this is going to make really good 2D stuff as the future unfolds. And I encourage people to go into open game art. Like even if you're not an artist and stuff, get some sprite art together that's in Creative Commons. And make sure you attribute if it's Creative Commons attribution. If it's CC0, just use it however you want. Although I would think I'd still like to get credit. I mean, give credit if you feel that you can. Even if you don't have to. It's better to be a nice guy, I think. I'm going to quickly reorganize some stuff here. Let's do script, because I'm just not liking how this flat view looks right now. And let's do a folder called animations. And I think I might even do a subfolder on this one. Let's not do it just yet. Let's just do animations, throw them in here. What are these actually called? Like, what is this? It's a controller. Okay. It's an animation controller. Alright. I'm going to create a new folder at the top level. Animation controllers. I'll put that separate. I haven't really worked with them too much, so I'm not used to categorizing them. And, let's see, create a folder called Sprites. So this goes into our Sprite Sheet and our tiles. Technically, in games, you'd usually distinguish between sprites and tiles in the old days, but I mean, it's kind of treated the same way these days. And we'll just leave the levels empty there. Drives me nuts how it always wants to put it in subfolders. Yeah, it puts in whatever you previously had clicked, which means if you start creating folders, they then immediately, because it reselects it when you create a folder, it immediately starts nesting them, so that is annoying sometimes. So what I want to cover today definitely is moving platforms. I wasn't terribly excited when someone asked about it, although I said we could do it and it's something to do, so that's good. But the thing that's kind of funny is I was looking at Unity 3D on Reddit, and someone had asked a question how to make a ball stick to the platform, and so I was just like, oh, I know how to do this. So I started setting up a little test case to make sure that I knew what I was doing, and I don't. Man, it's actually not as cut and dry as it looks. There's a really good character controller. I don't need to put my picture on here. There's a really good character controller that... am I just on screen right now? Yeah, good. There's a really good character controller that you can get in the platformer example package, which is on the asset store. I'm not going to be using it because it does everything really nicely, and it's a lot of code because it has to cover a lot of edge cases, and it handles pretty much everything nicely. I kind of want to build something from scratch so that you guys can appreciate what it's like, and If you want to use theirs, please use it. Like, it's a good system. I just want to kind of illustrate what type of problems you run into when doing this. So, so let's see what we're going to do here. First off, let's make a moving platform. So we have this thing. I'm just going to duplicate this cube, and we're going to move it out to the edge here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so that we can see it. I want it to just sidle up right there. And what we're going to do is, I'm just going to do this driven with animation. Main reason is just because it's easy to set up. It's an easy way for designers to move things around without scripting. And so if you're working with when you're working with things, it'll do that. And actually, you said there's no easy way to clear selection. I think you can just hit no, you can't clear the selection. You're absolutely right. It would be nice if you could clear the selection. I guess you can click another picture or something, but then that's stupid. Yeah, it's there's user interface and things they could do better on this. The other thing that really drives me crazy is when I'm trying to put something in a specific folder, or actually even worse, when I'm trying to drag a folder out of a folder or something out of a folder and put it in here, it ends up opening another folder, and then I can't drag it out of it, so now it's stuck there. Well, let's not complain too much about Unity here, though. So I don't need a new animation, actually. I'm just going to have use the record button. So when we go into animation here, which, again, if you don't have this window attached anywhere, you can just go to Window, Animation, and then dock it wherever you need. We're going to select our new cube here, and we're going to hit Record, and that'll bring up this dialog for a new animation, and I'm going to just call this Moving Platform 1. And all we're going to do on this, what do you think is a good... Let's make it nice, leisurely slow. What do you say? 3 seconds out, 3 seconds in. Let's do 4 seconds out, 4 seconds in. So we'll make it 8 long total. And so at 4 seconds, I'm going to create a keyframe. Oh wait, I first have to add a curve. We need to do transform position. And so let's add a keyframe at, actually let's move this keyframe out to 4 seconds. And we're going to change its position by that much, I don't know, something casual. And then we're going to go to the 8 seconds here, and we're going to move it back so it kind of moves somewhat smoothly. We'll see how this actually ends up looking. And so we go to the curves, and we can see the position data change. So this is the curve of our position data. The only thing I'd like to fix on this... Where are my scroll bars? Hold on. Sometimes this happens. I'm going to stop recording. Going to close the tab. Open the window again. There's my bars. There's still bugs occasionally. So here we go. We go to our curves. And one of the tricks with the curves here is... so we've only changed position X. Is you'll see this kind of sharp at this point. I'm going to see if I can actually make that less sharp. Auto, no. Flat. There, that's better. Now this will move kind of smoothly. So if we hit play on this, let's see what it looks like. Alright, it kind of smashes a little bit. It honestly looks a little bit more physical because of that. That's kind of funny. I think that's because it's not smooth enough on this side. You could probably tweak this so that it loops really nicely. If you have a sharp angle, it'll look sharp in the animation. But you can move on to it, and it works, except for if we stand still, we actually don't move with the platform. Part of the reason with this right now is because the character here that we're using... he has a rigid body 2D. Oh, that's interesting. He has a rigid body. I guess that's how we're doing the gravity. That makes sense. We're kind of driving him wrong with rigid body, I think. Let me see what our script looks like for move left and right. Or are we actually using rigid body properly here? No, we're literally changing the transform position. Problems with that, of course, are, I mean, sometimes you'll run into collision issues. I don't think we're going to run into those because we already had it kind of working in the block case. And honestly, we want our character to, I don't like physics-driven characters generally, especially in sprite games. It looks really awkward unless you have a lot of animation to support it. So this can sometimes cause a problem. We could have done rigid body move as well. That's a little bit safer. I'm going to leave it for right now. We could probably set up friction to make this work, but when I was experimenting with that, it's actually kind of tricky to get all of those values tweaked and stuff. What I really want is just more kind of an old school, if the platform moves, I want to be moving with it, and if I jump, I don't care at that point. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to actually track what platform we're on, and we're going to have to check to see if that platform has moved, and move with the platform if we are on the platform. They're doing a 2D character controller in the next live webinar. Cool. I'm going to have to look into that one. So, what are we doing? So we have a moving platform. I'm going to put this into animations. We need the character to stick to it. So let's start looking at our scripts here. So right now we have move left and right and jump as separate scripts. I'm kind of tempted to combine them at this point and just make a character script. I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. We're gonna be a little bit more monolithic than we usually are. So player character, and I'm just gonna combine basically both features here. So we need these options. We don't have anything that overlaps, right? There's the animator anim, but we need that in both cases. So that's good. Yeah, cool. So we can get away with this. So so in the jump, we're going to, or in move left and right, we're going to copy all of these public variables, put them into player character. This is just so that we have one-stop shopping for this, and it makes sense to have a lot of this logic kind of grouped together. It also makes sense to have it not grouped together too. I just figured I'd show that. I mean, the way you organize it is sometimes just up to personal preference, sometimes it's up to group preference, and sometimes it's up to what you know versus what you don't know. So we have speed, axis name, animator. So we have two animators. We only need one. And we can put all of, so in the start we have anim set here, so we just add that here. Jump, same exact deal, so we don't need to change that. And so in our update thing for move left and right, we're just going to copy all of that in here. I'm going to put a little comment saying left and right movement. And then we'll put jump logic afterwards. So we'll do all this. Jump logic. So I'm going to hit save. Let's go to our little character. Let's get rid of his jump and get rid of his move left and right. And replace both of those with the player character script. I probably should have looked at certain things to make sure that we got everything set up. So we need our ground checks, so we're going to grab our ground checks. We need to lock this so we can do it. Ground check 1, ground check 2, drag them both into ground checks. So, and we need our animator, which I think is just on the player itself. Is that right? Oh, wait. Doesn't need to be public. We can just make this private, because it automatically grabs it anyway. So don't need that. And we probably need to adjust the speed and stuff, because I think we had them really slow at start. Oh yeah, that's way too slow. And way too little jump. So let's make the speed 5 and the jump power 100. I don't know. Still not enough. Oh, do we change the... Alright, let's try jump power 1000. What did we have it before? I should probably have really paid attention to that. That's too much. 500. Probably 500 is good. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, we got a little hurdle bug, which looks like a feature, so we're keeping it. And we got our moving platform. All right, so we've got all our stuff conglomerated now. I'm just gonna leave those, even though we're not using them anymore. So this has all our logic together, and you can do this, and it saves you overhead on update calls sometimes to do this, but and sometimes people like the monolithic setup because they're used to older setups for how you would make games, and then also some people like to do what's it called, inheritance stuff. So you'll have like subclasses. So you might have like a character controller, and then you might have player character controller that derives from that. I don't usually do that on the show just because I think that the component-based hierarchy works better, more of a flat hierarchy. You can make the character move with the platform if you turn on Animating Physics. I actually don't think that's going to work, but let's try it. So if we go into our platform here, and we do it, actually it's already on. Animate Physics is on right now, right there, and it still doesn't move our character. So that's not actually true. Static what is it called? Static friction is actually kind of tricky. Additionally, I'm not actually sure if Animate Physics works with the 2D physics system yet. That might be another reason that it doesn't work. We could actually do an experiment with that by replacing things with the Unity 3D colliders and see if that actually fixes the problem. But I'm just going to stick with the 2D stuff for right now, and we're just going to assume that that's not a viable option. So what we're doing is... What are we doing? Why does this have no avatar? I guess it doesn't have an avatar. I don't know. What is this again? This is a... Oh yeah, this is another animation controller. So this is for our... Okay, that's the one that was automatically generated to make our platform move left and right, because the legacy system doesn't need them, but the new system does for all types of animations. So, let's make this character stick to this thing. What we're going to need is we're going to need to figure out what platform it's on. We're going to make a private transform current platform. We're going to default it to null. And so let's do a moving platform logic. It's also possible that we could set this up on the platform side and put a script on the platform. I'm going to put it on the character because I think that there's going to be less objects that need to be moved by the platform. And actually, maybe we should put this in a separate script, even though we consolidated everything else. Let's leave it in here for now. We might break it out so that we can put it on other objects. So moving platform logic. So we've already got a... so we've got in the jump logic, we do some line casting. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so if we have under any of our ground checks a platform, we set that platform, and then we don't change the platform until oh no, that might not work too well. Let's just start with that though. We'll change the platform once none of the colliders, none of the ground checks hit the platform anymore, and now they're hitting another platform. And if they're hitting nothing, then it sets it to null. And so the moving platform logic will be check for platforms. So we'll do. I'm going to throw this. It says jump logic up here, but I might, since we're already doing the checks here, let's go ahead and. Well, we're not doing the checks here. Okay, let's just do a new check. So we're going to do more raycasts than we really need. We can clean this up and make it a little bit faster later. Hopefully I'm talking enough. I had to talk to myself for an hour before this episode so that I was in the mood to talk. It's one of the things that's nice about having Phil with me is it feels like I'm not talking to myself. And I know I'm talking to you guys. It's just I have to keep blabbering. So for each ground check and ground checks, we're going to do a Physics 2D LineCast. We're going to actually do it a little bit differently than the last one, though. So Physics 2D.LineCast. we're going to need one that returns what we hit. Oh no. There's not one that returns what we hit, is there? Physics.raycast has that, right? Raycast. Interesting. Yeah, hit info. Yeah, there's a hit info concept. So Physics 2D doesn't have the ability to... Physics 2D LineCast... Oh, that's frustrating. Huh. Alright, so we may have to rethink this a little bit. So my plan was to LineCast down, find out what's underneath us, set that as our, set that in our little transform, what is it that we called it, in current platform. But I guess that's not an option. Hold on. Unity 2D LineCast hit. So, oh, there it is. It has hit info in there. Oh wait, physics.linecast. So this is not the 2D one. And so these are probably not compatible. So let's look at physics 2D. Well, maybe we'll just be like, oh well, physics 2D sucks. Let's just switch it all to 3D. I didn't want to have to do that, and then maybe we can just use what was suggested by Kara here. I spelled platform wrong, probably. Moving platforms. I don't know where I spelled it wrong. Animations, moving platform. I don't know. I thought I spelled it right. Oh, platform. Okay, I did spell it wrong. Thank you. So, LineCast, Physics 2D, Unity. Do they even have the docs on here? Alright, they do. LineCast. Note this function will allocate memory for the return Raycast hit 2D object. This function returns a Raycast 2D object when the line contacts a collider in the scene. Really? Wait, is that true? What were we using before? LineCast 2D. Let's look at what this says. LineCast. Oh, it returns a Raycast. Wait, how did this even compile? This is a bool. Does that work? Does it just, if it exists, it counts it? Huh. That's really strange to me. I would have expected Mono to have choked on this. Oh well. So, that answers our question. So this one works a little differently. Instead of passing a out variable, it just actually returns the LineCast. And if you don't want it to allocate that memory, you can do LineCast non-alloc instead. So, so this is, so let's see what this actual type is. So, physics 2D dot LineCast, so Raycast hit 2D. So, we're going to make a Raycast hit 2D hit object equals, actually I'll just call it hit. And then we'll set it to do our LineCast. So we can just do this exactly the same way that we did it before. And we'll get rid of these. And so now we have our hit, and so hit dot, what do we get in here? Normal point, rigid body transform. All right, cool. So we can get transform. This is exactly what we need. So all we do is set so let's just set the current platform, and then we'll figure out the edge cases in a second. So current platform equals hit dot transform. Now we're gonna hit save. And so what this will do now is we'll have it'll be arbitrary in the case of if you're overlapping two platforms. So let's try and fix that real quick, just in our brains here. So if we already have a platform and we're still hitting that platform, we don't want to change platforms. If we already have a platform and we're not hitting that platform anymore, we want to set it to null unless we're hitting a whole nother platform. So let's see if we can put that all into logic. So current platform equals hip.transform. So let's check first if so we have to check all of them first. So so this will probably return null automatically. Let's actually make this a public and just see if it's working for right now. Public. Oops, not private. It's not a private public. Is a public transform. And I'm just going to hit play because I just want to see if it's showing up. So we've got the player locked here. Perfect. So cube transform. See, it's working and it's none. So it does actually set to null automatically. So when it returns null, it works. So this kind of already works, except for in the overlap here, it's possible that the platform may change. So so depending on which it's checking last is probably going to be the one that we're actually going to ride on. That may not be too bad, honestly. Let's just work on that. Let's just work with this for right now. So this is check what platform we are on, and then we need to move with the platform. So this is a little trickier. So we need to actually check at some point the delta for the platform that's moving. And the way we can do that is, and by delta I mean the change over time. So if you want ray if you just want to see to infinity. Actually, rays you can set a length to as well, I think, in Unity. You can set a maximum raycast length. But yeah, the LineCast is specifically that, but you can kind of use them both for different things. I don't think there's actually... Is there a Physics 2D raycast? There probably is. Physics2D.raycast. There is a raycast. So we could have done a raycast as well. But we want it to be short, and this one, I'm not sure. So it has a distance, so we could have done it with raycast as well. I'm sure that they function very similarly under the hood. So, so we need to determine how far the platform has moved since last time. So, what we can do... I want to try and do this in a way that doesn't confuse it too much. Oh, let's just break everything and we'll fix it. So public, I'm going to save it up here. Actually, private, float, actually not float, private vector3. We probably get away with vector2, but let's just do vector3. Current platform delta. And we're going to call this private as well. Delta is very commonly used to describe change, and it's usually the symbol triangle, and so it's from physics, and so that's why I'm using delta. So that's the change over time since the last update call, and so we can determine how far it's moved by. So let's determine how far platform has moved. So let's do another thing here. So if current platform does not equal hit.transform, we're going to probably write ourselves into a problem here, but I don't care. Then we're going to change this. And the reason this is important is because we can also now reset our current platform delta to 0. So I'm going to actually default this to new vector3. Actually, just vector3 dot 0 will work. And we will set it here the same way. So if it changes, we reset the platform delta so that we don't do anything wrong. So how far the platform has moved is is oh, okay, platform deltas. So we need to know the platform's previous position when it's moving. All right, I'm doing this wrong. So private vector 3 current platform delta, we'll do last platform position equals, we'll just default this again to vector 3, 0 because we can't set it to null. Last platform position is vector 3, 0. Current platform delta, yeah. So, so at some point we need to get the last platform position, which, so let's change this too. So we want last platform position here. Sorry about this, guys. My brain's not as well organized when I don't have someone barking at me. So, last platform position equals current platform dot position. And so this will only happen if it changes to, oh, I see, that might be a problem. So this will be a problem if we're overlapping two platforms. We'll be fine if we're on them directly. We'll fix that case in a second here. So last platform position. So at the at some point, we'll do it here, we need to determine the delta. So current platform delta equals current platform dot position minus last platform dot position, or last platform position. And that's how we want it, yeah, because that's pointing in the direction that it's moved. And so this is our vector that represents how far the platform is moved since the last time it was called. And we will now move with the platform that amount. So so transform dot position plus equals current platform delta. We could have done that as a temporary variable. We'll clean that up in a second here. Let's see what this does right now because we haven't hit play in a while. So I'm here, I'm jumping, we've got a null reference exception all over the place. That's because we're trying to check current platform position even if it doesn't exist. So if current platform does not equal null, then we do this stuff. So if we stop and hit play again, we shouldn't have all these horrible little red errors. Nope, we still have them. No reference exception. Oh, I see. In the case of null, that doesn't make sense. So if current platform does not equal null, let's do another quick check. File save. And we're gonna, alright, so now we're looking good. So we're on this non-moving platform, so let's see what happens if we jump onto our moving platform. Oh, it definitely did something. Most definitely it did something. And I think I know what happened here. So current platform position, so we never actually set last transform position except for right when we get on it. So after we determine the delta and move, we need to reset current platform. Okay, so we don't need to reset current platform delta, but we do need to make sure that last platform position equals vector 3.0. No, last platform position equals the current, the new position of the platform. So that would be current platform dot position. So now we aren't going to be accelerating off the side of the screen when we try and get on this thing. And I probably have my math wrong because I think it was sliding me the wrong direction, or a direction that I wasn't expecting. So we'll see what actually happens. So I jump here. Oh, nope, it's working. Oh, sweet. There we go. Now we're moving with the platform. See, that wasn't too hard. Now, bugs we're going to have. If I hang off the edge on one of these... Actually, I can't even hang off the edge anymore, can I? That's weird. Wonder why that was the case. Huh. Was it just because it was moving? That's just weird that it kind of hangs me up like that. Doesn't hang me if it's not moving. Not quite sure what's going on there. I think it's just because it was moving me forward, and so I'm staying on the platform for some reason. So let's see. Okay, people are answering each other's questions. That's awesome. Thank you guys for helping each other. Really appreciate that. So now we have basic movement on this thing. So there's degenerate cases here. If I get off the platform so that I'm colliding with both, let's see what happens. So does it hook me onto that one? No, it didn't hook me onto that one. If I was on the opposite side, it might have. So like if I hook onto the platform and stay on the edge, let's see if I can get this going here. We have cases where we can be colliding with both our platforms on different at different points. So So what are we doing here? Oh, I know what happened there. That was exactly what I was talking about. So that was a bug. I slid off there that time because the last ground check evidently is the left one. And so when the left one got off the platform, it immediately stops pushing me with the platform. And so there's one of our degenerate cases right there. So we need to actually determine if you've hit anything. So we're going to have to keep track of things. I'm going to use a list. So let's make a... we just build a list here. So we're going to need using system.collections.generic. So we can do generic lists. And we're going to get a list of... We're going to develop a list of the things that we're colliding with. So list transform platforms equals list transform platforms equals new list. And I like to be specific, even though I think you can actually just get away with that. So there we go. And so all we have to do now is add things to this list and remove them appropriately. So this gets created every time at this point, so we don't have to worry about removing things from the list probably. So each one that we hit, we're going to add this to the list. So we're going to do platforms.add hit.transform. So now we're adding that to the list. And so we're going to move this logic out of here and into a new for each loop that actually does some additional checking. So do we need to do it in additional checking? Let's just do it. Ground check. So we don't want... So it's for transform platform in platforms. If current platform... Alright, let's put that check in here. So if current platform current platform equals hit dot transform. Alright, so this one we want to just keep whatever platform. We want to only change platforms once we've actually moved on to another platform completely. So if you're just overhanging one of them, you're on the last platform until you are no longer touching the last platform. So if any of these are the current platform, we want to maintain the current platform. So so what we can do with that is, I'm just going to have a bool or something. Let's do bool on same platform equals false. So we'll set on same platform here to true equals true. And so if not on same platform, then we do this check. And the reason is, as I said, so that's so that we don't have to do a bunch of, because we're basically, that's the whole reason that I was breaking this out like this anyway. So for the platform in platforms, so at this point I think we can afford to be arbitrary. So like if you jumped off of a platform onto two platforms at the same time, we're just going to pick one. So we can at this point just set one of these to the new thing. So we'll just do for each platform and platforms. I don't know if I really needed this list, but whatever. We'll just set current platform equals. Oh yeah, the platform could be null because we're adding this without checking that. Let's check that here. If hit.transform does not equal null, then we add the platform. And so yeah, we'll just set it to, so whatever the last one is will be our primary. So current platform equals platform. So let's see if this solves that little problem. So if I hit play on this now, whoa, that was cool. That's real cool. Huh. Now we're doing some really awkward stuff. There's no console output, so we're doing it in a way that doesn't bother anyone except for myself. So if this hangs on the platform, so we're going to stay on that one unless we break to, and actually, so this is not entirely fair, so we need to actually do this inside of the null check here. I think that's part of what was biting us in the butt here. It's because we don't care if it's null. So now that should probably stop freaking out. Now, no, it's still freaking out. Alright, so that wasn't the problem. So what's happening when we hit that? Why is it happening when we hit that thing? God, this is just really jacked. So these are the fun bugs. We're in the fun stuff now. Now that we got stuff really breaking. Let's see what happens when we get on the platform. See if that logic still works. Oh, whoa. Okay, I think we're moving the stuff we're on. What did we do? Transformed up position. Last platform position. What happened there? Why did the ground disappear from underneath us? Where are we? Alright, so we jump here. And I just immediately just went away. Where did it go to? Okay, I'm going to pause it. I need to find out what happened here. This is just fascinating. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, we're breaking everything now. Oh, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I know, I shouldn't get excited when everything's broken, but I get excited when things are broken. Alright, pause. So where is... Okay, so the platform didn't disappear. It just looked like it did. We moved all the way to the right-hand side of it. That's really weird. So what did we change here? Jeez, I messed something up really good. So list platform transforms, new list transform. If it's not null, then we add it, and if current platform equals it, then we're on the same platform. We never reset it to false, so if any of them is on the same platform, then we ignore that, and so we should have the same platform in that case, in theory. I don't think that's actually working out right, though. Oh, we're not actually resetting some of this stuff. So, so current platform delta. That shouldn't matter because we're calculating it right here. Current platform position minus last platform position. Oh, it's probably because we're maintaining some of the data here between current platform position and last platform position. So what we want to do is, oh, we didn't reset last platform position if it changes. That's the reason. So last platform position equals current platform dot position. That's what we got rid of, this causing all this chaos. At least that's my theory. Sticking with it. So, oh yeah, looking much better. Yay. It's not freak out time anymore. So, it shouldn't transition me unless I get all the way over. It's working. Yay. We'll have to figure out a way to make that look smoother because it's getting that little choppiness. Sometimes we get that. We're no longer on the platform. Yay. That works. Alright, awesome. So there is a degenerate case, as I said. If we fall onto two platforms at once, it will pick one of them, and I think it's going to pick the left one in this case. So I'm not sure if that was a valid test. Let's see if we can do this a little bit more validly. So you see we stay on that left one. Now, if we had changed the order of the ground checks here, which right now the right one's first and then the left one. If I set this down to 0, not 0, 2, 0, and then we drag in the left one first and then the right one, it will prioritize that one because this is whatever happens last again in this. So here's the degenerate case. We land on the middle and on two platforms at once, and then it will... Oh, it didn't hook us in. Weird. Let's try it again. Jump. Oh, didn't have it focused. Let's try this one more time. So remember, it tries to stay on a platform if it's already been on the platform. So, weird. I thought I did that in the opposite order before. So, ground check. Alright, call me a liar on that one. Let's see. View, zoom in once. Yeah, oh yeah, sure. Sorry about that. Let me get the script. I usually try to do that, and I sometimes forget. Is that better? That's probably better. I'll just do a quick summary scroll through here. But yeah, so yeah, we're doing probably a little bit more than we need. I don't think we need the whole list of platforms anymore. No, we do because we need to check, because we don't want to set this works, so I'm gonna stick with it. It's fixing a lot of little issues. It's amazing what you run into on edge cases on these things. And when I say edge cases, I don't mean necessarily on edges. It does mean on edges in this case, but edge cases are just like any type of logic that that is a transitional, where it's like, oh, what happens in this specific scenario that happens sometimes. And those are the things that usually cause the problems in games, so you have to pay attention to that. When you're testing, that's actually the first thing that you learn, is how to identify places that code will break that are edge cases, and so you start focusing on that stuff when you're in a game, because that's the most common place that gameplay logic breaks. So we have a working moving platform system. Let's see if it works. Let's try a couple other animations with this. Let's make another platform. Let's kind of progress the level here. So I'm gonna duplicate this. Actually, I'm gonna go back and duplicate the left one again. So So it's the left one because it doesn't already have the animation component on it. And I'm going to put this, where does this one end up? Let's see. Is there a way I can find that out easily? Hit play on here. Alright, so we'll just eyeball it. Make it so you have to jump a little bit. And let's make this one have a animation as well. We're going to call this one diagonal move. I just want to make sure that it works in the case of something going up and down and left and right at the same time. So, actually, let's make a circle platform. Let's just new clip, circle move platform. And so this one will do 4 points. We'll have it take I'll have it take 10 seconds total. So we're going to record. We're going to add the curve for our position. And I wish there was a way to just zoom in to an appropriate degree. I guess since it's not really moving, it's at an appropriate degree now. So we'll do at 2.5 seconds, which I'm going to zoom in so that we can make sure that I'm on the right ticker. So there we go, 2.5 seconds. We're going to create an additional keyframe. Actually, we don't have a keyframe yet, do we? So let's just jiggle it so that we have a keyframe. I'm just going to move it to 45 even. 45. Oh, and I was on the later one, so that's not really helping us. Let me undo that. Why is this zoomed so awkwardly? Alright, there we go. So, why can't I just click here to get a keyframe? Didn't that work before? Maybe on the dope sheet? Oh, there we go. There's the dope sheet. So we already have a keyframe at 1 second. So let's move this over to the 2.5. So 230, that's actually it. And so we'll move this one kind of, I don't know. This is gonna not be a circle movement. It's gonna be kind of stupid looking, I think, but I don't care. This should really work. What we've set up should work with animation. It should work with script. It should even work with rigid body, assuming that you maintain contact with the platform in some meaningful fashion. So I'm not too worried about that aspect. Why can't I zoom out? There we go. They really need to figure out this interface a little bit better. So we're just going to move this kind of in an arbitrary, stupid way. I didn't want to do that. Let's just pan here. And then we will create another set of keyframes at 730. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, and 2.5. So we will now move it down and to the left. And then the final one, we want to have it be pretty much exactly the same as this position. So I'm going to copy component, and I'm not sure if this will actually work. Oh, this is the player. So I don't want to copy that component at all. Let's go back to our cube that we're moving around. So let's copy component. Although we want to copy it in this state. So copy component, and then we're going to go here and paste component values. So that should move back to the start. So now if we hit play, we ought to have a circular-ish moving platform. It may be square right now. I didn't look at what the curves are going to be. So we're moving on our first platform, and this thing's not moving in any capacity whatsoever. Huh. So what does this have? It has an animator, it has a controller, which is, oh, it's named the same thing. That's dangerous. But I'm sure that it's different because it's in a different folder at least. And what are we doing? So why is that not playing at the start? So let's look at our circle move platform here. It actually makes animations go on the start anyway on this new version. So this one has an animator, apply root motion, animate physics. So I swear animate physics was checked at some point. I don't think I actually did that test properly. I think I must have had something locked. Alright. Where does the animation get set for this? Like, how do we determine... Oh, it's in the controller. I'm not even thinking. So in the controller here, so we have a circle move platform and diagonal move platform. Any state... So we just need to delete this. And then maybe it will just work. So if I go back to the scene... Okay, now it's working. If this isn't connected, does it still work? I'm just curious if that actually has anything to do with anything. No, it doesn't. So if you only have one, it just automatically starts playing it, I guess. You don't even have to hook any state into it. So, let's see what we got. So we're moving on our platform, we're moving forward. Oh, yeah, timing. There's that problem. Well, these have different periods, so eventually we should theoretically see our platform and have the ability to jump to it. Saw it that time. Alright. Oh, yeah. No, this is horrible. Alright, so this is one of the tricks with making platform games, isn't it? So, first off, let's see what the gap is when we have this at the full extent of its animation. So let's shore up that gap just a tad. So let's look at that comparison again. We can move it a little bit further. Alright, so that's now in a more appropriate position. Now, this has a period of 7.5 seconds, I guess. No, circle move platform. Oh, it's not going back to its start. That's part of the problem. Wait, so why does it not have the final position here? That's stupid. Let's try this again. So we're going to copy the component values here, and we're going to go into 10, and we're going to paste component values. I didn't do anything. Why didn't that do anything? Circle move platform, position X. How do I make a new keyframe? There we go. Now paste component values. So it goes up, down. So this one should be... Why is this one all the way... Oh, I see. It's because we returned it back early. So we'll put this one somewhere like here. I don't know. That's going to look awful. Alright, so that looks more right. Now the problem here is we have a period discrepancy, which actually may not be a problem. You'll want to have period discrepancies in the case of if you're activating things, because you need to have the player to be able to have a situation where it's meaningful. The other option is to just make sure that everything works in the same period, and that way everything will line up nicely. So I'm just going to extend this animation to the same period. So it's going to be 10 seconds. And this should make it so that it will always line up properly. Yay, I'm jumping. So we're going to jump on this thing, and we're going to move it over here, and so it should line... Oh, wait, no, it's going to be exactly the opposite of lining up. Always. Yeah, it's always going to be as far away as possible because of the starting animation. So I think we can fix that easily. So let's go to circle move platform, and let's make the cycle offset to be 0.5. So now what that means is it should start halfway through its animation, which is the point at which it is furthest away, and it should be closest to the other moving platform now when we get back. 0.5, so if it was 1.0, it would be in the same spot that it was before. So there we go. Oh, no. Missed the jump. That's a tough jump. Let's give it another shot. Oh, man. Actually, the one I should change is... Yeah, let's reverse this. Let's make this 0. Let's go back to our moving platform 1 and make this 0.5. So now we have the advantage of... We'll have the platform coming towards us sooner rather than running away from us right at the start. And then... I'm going to have to get really good on this jump. Go! Yeah! Look at that! Woo! We're moving! Alright, we're cruising around. And we can't really tell because we're not doing anything with the background, so we're going to have to add some scrolling at some point so that we have some meaningfulness to the background. But it's working. Now we're jittering around a little bit. I think the best way to solve that would be to actually, instead of doing the transform position stuff here, we can do it in late update. Now, all of a sudden, we have a reason for platform delta to be a private variable. I knew there was a reason. Actually, I didn't know there was a reason. Void late update. So let's see what happens if we do the actual transform position current platform delta here. And we'll still do a check to make sure that the platform is not null, because that value could be in a strange state if we get to this point. So I'm going to hit save, and so hopefully we'll jitter a little bit less. I'm not sure if you could even see on the video. You probably can, because we've got amazing resolutions these days. Oh, that was a miss. Let's try this again. Alright, I can jump. Boom. There we go. We're going to make our epic, old school, this is a hard jump. Yay! And it's still kind of jiggly. Alright, well, we'll figure out the jiggly next time. But at least we have a decent first stab at moving platform scripts and actually making it work on the character. Next time we'll fix some of the problems with it, and we'll also make it so that it works for other objects. Because right now, if we slide this thing onto there, it's not going to stay on it, I don't think. Actually, here, let's try Animate Physics. Let's actually make sure that that's set and see if it works with the block. I'm just curious. I'm going to duplicate this block. We're going to put it on the platform, so I'm just going to move the position to here. This thing is totally a real collider thing. Oh wait, it's not going to actually be on the platform though, because the platform moves. So let's move this further to the right for this test. That didn't do anything. There we go. So that's probably about where it's going to be. Maybe a little bit further to the right. Let's be safe. And let's make sure that Animate Physics is actually on here. So it's not. So let's see if this actually does work. And I was just totally wrong and did something wrong. Nope, it still doesn't move with the platform. So we're going to have to pull that out of the script and make it separate so for other objects that we want to move on the platforms. Anyway, I think we did pretty good tonight. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. View zoom in. So I'm not sure. 5 minutes ago... 1 minute ago. What order are these comments in? I don't even know what YouTube's doing now. If I hit refresh on this, all of them have to come through again. I'm just going to do it. Whatever. Okay, there's nothing new. So I'm going to call it a wrap on this for tonight. I almost hit stop. That would have been bad. Didn't even say the things that I like to say. Nope. All those were wrong. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, or joining me tonight. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, please email me at pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Drakfire. Phil's not here, but I'm still plugging his game. Robot and Alone. It's a lot of fun. It's like Puro. If you've ever played WarioWare, Puro, it's actually closer to Puro 2 than Puro 1. And if you have played WarioWare, you totally know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't played WarioWare, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But it's a fun game. And his version I actually like better. It has online high scores, which is always fun. And you should beat his high score. And I'm shipping out the tiles. I've already got the first. I looked to where they are. They're not there anymore. I got the first batch done. So those are out. So hopefully you'll see those in the next couple weeks. And I have gotten a few more donations since then. Thank you very much. If I haven't emailed you yet, I will. Thank you for your donations. We really appreciate it. And yeah, so still planning on moving from YouTube to Dailymotion. Not done with the move. It's going to be a couple more weeks. It's just a lot of stuff to transfer and a lot of stuff to get figured out. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you on Monday.